There is a metaphorical energy field, a metaphorical thought field, a distributed network, a desire field from which you can manifest everything you want, from which will emerge everything you want. Everybody is programmed with a never-ending series of desires. The entirety of our life is in the pursuit of our desires. Some of our desires are easy to achieve. Some of our desires we will have in our brains our entire lives, but we will never even come close to achieving them. Some of our desires are so big, we never even want to consider these desires consciously, because then we'll have to face the truth of whether or not we can actually achieve these desires. Most people keep their biggest desires in the land of vague hopes and wishes, and they think of them through the model of, I hope something happens to me so I can get this, rather than, I hope I have one day the skills to achieve this desire. I hope one day, I plan one day to develop the skills to achieve my ambitions. So people walk the earth with a kind of frustration. Everybody has programmed into them by evolution an ego that compels us to get our ideas out into the world, to tell our story, to tell your story, to share what is unique about you. But everybody is beaten down over and over and over, not necessarily beaten down, but as soon as we start to share our ideas, we feel pushback from other people. And so where does this metaphorical desire field exist? It exists in the distributed network that is the mental maps of everybody that you talk to. Everybody that you see has a whole bunch of mental maps, a map of their desires, a map of their best experiences, a map of their decision-making process, a map of the feelings they feel before they're about to make the most monumental decision of their lives. Yet very few people ever get to share these maps. Very few people ever get to articulate these maps because everybody has social anxiety. So how specifically can you tap into this distributed network? How can you tap into this distributed desire field? The first step is to understand and acknowledge that you have an ego just like everybody else has an ego. Most people believe that I don't have an ego, but everybody else has an ego. This is the very nature of the ego, to keep it hidden from ourselves. We see it in other people, but we cannot see the ego in ourselves. But if you can understand how to recognize your own ego, how to manage your own ego, which essentially is the compulsion to tell people what to do, the compulsion to share your ideas, the compulsion to give people advice even when you think they absolutely need to have this advice, that is your ego. If you could relax this just long enough to ask people what they want, to ask people about their greatest decisions, they will be in a fantastic mood. They will be built up from the inside out, a feeling of positive reinforcement of their own ideas, a feeling of positive anticipation about the future. This is the great thing about humans, compared or combined with our ego instinct. We also have this idea that the future is going to be fantastic. This is programmed into us by evolution. So if you can tap into their future is going to be fantastic model of the world and get them to expand that and get them to explain to you how they would like their fantastic future to be, they will subconsciously associate that fantastic future with you. And that is how you can get whatever you want, by first helping them orient themselves in the direction of what they want. This is the simplest law of economics ever discovered. You can get whatever you want, so long as you first help other people get what they want, or at the very least, help them orient their mental maps in the direction of their positive futures to help them at least think about what they want without somebody else trampling all over their dreams. to elicit their future desires and validate their future desires and expand and enhance their future desires without contaminating it with the injection of your ego into the system. This is the distributed desire field from which all of your dreams will manifest. And all it takes is you understand your ego and ask other people questions. To be a treasure hunter inside other people's mental maps. To be a treasure hunter inside the desire field that exists everywhere you see other people. Because in that desire field, in that distributed network, will come anything you want.